morning, everybody. I'm here today to talk to you about the benefits of activities, specifically for residents who suffer from dementia. There are more than 5 million Americans in the United States today who have a diagnosis of dementia. That's roughly equivalent to 1 of every 8 seniors over the age of 65. Dementia is one of the most common reasons for entry into long-term care facilities. Last year, a documentary called Alive Inside went viral on the internet. More than 8 million people viewed a clip of a man named Henry. Henry's 92 years old. He's been in a long-term care facility for 10 years. He suffers from dementia, and he doesn't even recognize his own children. This is Henry in his day-to-day life. Oliver Sacks, a neurologist, and a social worker named Dan Cohen had the idea for this documentary, and they provided residents in long-term care facilities with iPods that had specific playlists that were tailored to the interests of the residents that were given it to. So Henry, before he received his iPod, went too fast. Alright, that's Henry after he received his iPod. In their study, the social worker and the neurologist were surprised to find that Henry could go from such an unresponsive state to one in which he could coherently carry a conversation about the kind of music that he enjoyed. Now, it's a sad fact that we cannot provide activities for every resident with dementia and get this sort of response. According to a research review from the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, the overall outcome for people with dementia is not going to be different, whether they're in a long-term care facility, or if they're at home, or if they're in an assisted living. The disease process will continue regardless. The goal in treating dementia is to manage its symptoms, its comorbidities, and to improve the quality of life. Numerous studies have shown that utilizing activities for residents with dementia may have greater benefit than we previously thought, especially in areas of problematic behaviors. And the problematic behaviors are one of the reasons that people are admitted to long-term care instead of being able to stay at home. The key to capturing the benefits for residents with dementia is to make sure that the activities are tailored to that resident. Henry had such a remarkable response to that iPod music, not because he heard music. He heard music he loved. In 2002, well-renowned geriatric researchers Drs. Campizzuti, and Cohen-Manfield published a report in Psychiatric Services, and they established that negative behaviors manifest because residents with dementia have unmet needs. Now, these residents are not going to be able to tell us what their needs are because of the associated decline in cognitive function because of the dementia. Another study done in 2008 by Dr. Lauren Gitlin, the director at the Center for Applied Research on Aging and Health at Thomas Jefferson University, confirmed the previous results. And she also showed that tailored activities provided greater benefit for a resident than generic activities. There was a large reduction of the behaviors specifically. Shadowing, repetitive questioning, agitation, aggression, and contentiousness. In 2011, the Cochrane collaboration published a review of 15 previous studies. And none of the studies were exactly the same, but they were all specifically designed to show what the benefit was for the residents with dementia. All of the studies in the review demonstrated some improvement in cognition immediately following the participation in meaningful activities. Some of the studies even showed that residents could maintain some cognitive function up to 3 months after the trial ended. And ultimately, the quality of life for the residents with tailored specific activities was better than residents who did not receive the specific tailored activities. So all this data, what does that mean for us in long-term care? Well, basically it means that we have to think of activities not only as something to do or something to have fun. We have to start thinking of it as an effective, non-pharmacological treatment for dementia. And it's not enough for us just to know personal data. If we have a resident come in and we know that she's been a homemaker all of her life, maybe we'll give her some domestic type activities to do, say folding laundry, and that's great, but we have to go a step beyond providing this activity for this resident. We have to make sure that the resident is engaged in this activity. If she's not engaged, she is not going to get any benefit. So what does engagement mean? It means that she has to show some interest. She has to participate. And she might not do this on her own. That's how we, as long-term care providers, have to step in and help her. We can model behavior, we can encourage, and as long as she's actively participating, then we can say she's engaged. A second point to make is that attendance at an activity is not the same as engagement in the activity. For instance, if we have our same resident A, and we know that she's gone to church her entire life, we're going to bring her to church while she's here. But if we bring her and we park her wheelchair in front of our speaker and she goes to sleep, she's not engaged in that activity and she's not going to get any benefit. So we need to try to encourage her. We can sing, we can clap our hands, we do what we can do to try to get some engagement from that resident. And I don't say any of this to say that residents who don't show engagement should be left out of activities. It's quite opposite. I'm going to say that any activity is better than no activity, whether we can see a response or not. But specifically in the case of dementias, I think that we need to push a little harder and attempt to gain a breakthrough for these residents. In fighting a disease that cannot be cured, we have to remember that these people are not a medical diagnosis. The National Alzheimer's Association did a poll of caregivers, and about half of those caregivers said that once their loved one received a diagnosis of dementia, people stopped treating the patient as a human being with full capacity. So we have to remember, these people have lived a life, and they've loved people, and they've struggled with everything that we struggle. And we owe it to them to push harder to get that engagement so that activities will be a meaningful part of their life and improve the quality for whatever time they have.